Welcome to Doc's Daily Dose for Dads, prescribed by Dr. Harrison. All right, I really try my best not to hate or be a hater when I do these videos, but today I'm throwing haterade everywhere, okay? I'll get to the story that even got me riled up about it. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine, but it's this notion of hovering over your kids, this helicopter thing. I'm gonna hate on this. I really am. If you're a helicopter parent, you're probably going to have some comment for me. I don't care. I will go back and forth with you on this. I'm going to hate on this all day. And this probably won't be the last time I ever hate on it on these videos, because this thing plays itself out in multiple ways. It can play itself out in something as simple as your kid falling down, right? And you're rushing over to pick him up instead of like, let the kid get up, see if he's all right. It could also play itself out in sports. It could play itself out in academics. It can play itself out in everything. Their dating life, it's all over the place, this notion of helicopter parent, and I can't stand it, okay? Today, here's what got me all riled up with high-pitched voice and everything. So today, on the weekends, sometimes I proctor SAT and ACT exams for high school students. It's a nice way to make some extra cash. There's not much to do. You get to do some reading and just kind of pay attention, make sure no one's cheating, administer the test. And the kids that I see come in there are so stressed out. They're not even smiling. They are oblivious to someone saying hello when they walk in the room because they're so, all wires blown, right? And then on top of that, you got mom and dad who were in their ear, right ear, left ear, the entire time they've been in the car, from when they got out of the car, through check-in, all the way to my classroom to take the exam, walking them into the classroom, sitting them down, making sure everything's set up properly for them on their desk. Mind you, these are 11th graders, right? 11th, 12th graders doing this in front of other kids. And then they're bickering back and forth at each other because, someone doesn't want to mess one up and the other one. It's ridiculous. And you can just see it all over this kid's face. They feel like their entire future depends on this exam. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. In all honesty, it's bullshit. And I'm just going to call it. When I think about my SAT experience, now this is nothing to brag about, but there wasn't a single time that my mom ever walked me into the classroom. Quite frankly, at that time in high school, I was, having my fun on the weekends. I think every SAT I ever took, I was hungover. Right? I remember specifically going to one at John Muir High School that in the middle of the exam, I asked for a bathroom break and went on the fire escape and had a cigarette and came back in and finished my exam. I think I turned out okay, right? I also got to go to a great college on an academic scholarship. It didn't have anything to do with my life outside of that one day for those 4 or 5 hours. Didn't hurt me in any way. And I didn't have the greatest SAT score. I wasn't blowing it out of the water. I really wasn't. These kids have enough pressure. Think about it. Do you even remember your SAT score? When's the last time you told someone what your SAT score is? And if you've got kids of your own and you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and you're running around telling people your SAT score from 17 and 18 years old, come on, bro. Come on. Right? I don't even tell people about my high school glory days of football or college glory days of football anymore. Come on. Really? SAT score? Stop putting so much pressure on these kids. They've got enough pressure as it is. They're no longer allowed to be children. They're no longer allowed to be teenagers. Everything is a life or death decision. You know how this plays itself out? I'll give you an example. I once had a football player of mine. I was really close to this kid, loved him to death. He's the only kid who's ever brought me to tears in a banquet for what he said. And he actually told the story that I'm about to tell. He was super stressed out about college entrance and the SAT exam. And he felt like, if he couldn't get into a good school, that was the end of his life. His parents were going to be so disappointed. What was he going to do? And he came up to my office and he was just going on and on and on. And I was trying to be as empathetic and sympathetic as I could until I just had to shut him up. And I was like, look, check this out, man. Let's go for the worst case scenario. What happens if you bomb the SAT and you don't get into a single college? His first response was like, I don't know. And I was like, nah, dig deeper. What would you actually do? Think as the intelligent young man you are. What would you do? No college, bomb the SAT. And he's like, well, I guess I would get a job. And I was like, all right, would you get a job in something that you like doing? And he was like, yeah, I would probably get a job doing something with like selling cars or detailing cars or tricking them out. And I was like, all right, would you want to then be the person who detailed the cars, or would you want to be the person who owned the stuff that was getting detailed or had the body shop? And he's like, nah, the body shop. So I'd probably try to start a business at some point after saving up some money. And I was like, okay. And then you'd open your business, then what? Well, then I'd either chill or maybe try some other stuff or maybe open up chains of them. And it got him to stop and think that life isn't over if you don't get into college and you don't have a perfect SAT score. You know what that kid did? His senior year, he started an auto detailing company, got his own little business cards, and him and a few of his buddies from high school would go to people's houses and detail their cars in their driveway. Come on, man. You're putting too much pressure on these kids. Get off of them. Stop hovering over them. You know what happens when you hover over your kids like that constantly, from the moment they're born until the moment they leave the house? They have no survival skills. They don't know what to do without you. They will get to college and they'll be the kid who loses their mind because they've never been able to do anything on their own without mom or dad right there next to them, not even picking up behind them, but laying out the steps for them so that they don't have to pick up any kind of mess, ensuring that there are no errors possible. That's impossible, parents. You are eliminating their ability to deal with adversity and pressure by hovering over them constantly. What you end up creating is a high-stress, high-strung individual that, quite frankly, no one wants to be around when shit hits the fan. You ever been around that person where as soon as one tiny thing goes out of order in the plan, they lose their shit? It's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? This is all ruined. That's the person that's being created. Stop doing that to your kids. You know what? If you disagree with me and you say, no, it's my right, I'm going to hover over my kids all day, let me ask you this question. If you have a boss at your place of employment, or if you are the boss and you used to have a boss back when you were younger, did you like a boss who micromanaged you? Who was constantly over your shoulder, checking every move you made, never gave you the opportunity to prove what you were worth and why you were hired? Or did you like the boss that trusted your leadership skills, trusted you to do the job that you were hired to do, that they hired you to do, and left you alone, came in and checked on things, helped you when help was needed, trained you appropriately, and gave you good jobs and high fives and praise when you did a good job? Which boss did you like? Which boss were you more productive for? Which boss did you learn from more? And which boss did you get the most out of and got the most out of you? Same thing with your kids, bro. Don't be that micromanaging boss, that micromanaging parent. All you're doing is messing up their present and their future, creating a horrible past and history for them, making them high-strung and stressed, yourself high-strung and stressed, for something that in the long run, as we all know, SAT score, whether you get into college or not, it's not that big a deal in today's world. Think about all the people who are beginning a success in all the different fields and how many of them got into college and dropped out or never went. I'm not saying don't send your kids to college. What I'm saying is get off their back. Let them be kids. Let them have some room for error. You messed up when you were a kid, right? Did you turn out okay? If you're watching this, I think you might have. I think that means you care. So hopefully, at some point, maybe I'll get to meet your kid and they'll thank me if you get off their back. That's Doc's Daily Dose for Dads. Don't forget to hashtag Doc's Daily Dose for Dads, hashtag 4D. All social media at rebirthbx. Check out the website, rebirthbx.com. Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm about to go play with my kids on a Saturday and not worry about anything school-related or anything, period. I'm going to let them have fun and be kids and dirty themselves and hurt themselves and brush it off and get back up. I'll talk to you tomorrow on Sunday.